Okay, dollhouse people, so this week I have begun to work on the master bedroom of my Garfield dollhouse, and I'm super excited to get started on that. So in this video, I'm going to be installing the hardwood flooring, the closet walls, and some wallpaper. Now, I like the look of a popsicle stick flooring, but some people like the stir sticks that you can get at any craft store, of course, which is also great too. But you can just choose whatever flooring that you like. So you do you, okay? So I'm working on another project where I'm going to use the stir sticks, so you can look forward to that video in the next few weeks. But in the meantime, I found this flooring pattern that I really like online, and I love this look so much that I'm just going to kind of mimic it in the dollhouse. It's got some diagonal planks in the middle and then some straight planks on the side that kind of create this really cool border with some darker inlay detail. So I'm going to use this as my inspiration flooring. So let's get started. I did have a little bit of a hard time filming this because the space is really tight in this upstairs bedroom. But basically all I'm going to do here is cut these popsicle sticks and then start gluing them down, so you can kind of see the process of that. So to do this, I would highly recommend and suggest you purchasing a pair of multi-angle miter shears. Okay, these are life-changing. They're super easy to use, so your forearm isn't going to be so sore the next day after trying to cut all this with scissors or an X-Acto knife. But I use them for a ton of other dollhouse projects beyond the flooring because they're really good for trims and other things like that. So it's an item that you'll use a ton of, so totally worth the purchase. So what I did here is I made the border, and I used, 3 popsicle sticks of thickness going in, and I just made one big rectangle border, and then I just began to cut those diagonal pieces to the center and kind of taped them down as I went along. Well, I glued and then taped them. Now, because you're cutting at an angle, there might be times when you can really mess up those angles. If you have enough product, you can just recut, but if you don't, you can just use wood fill for those areas and let it dry and then stain over it, and it'll look really good. The other thing that I learned through another process was just make sure that you don't get the wood glue on top of the stick, because even though you're going to sand this later, it will not stain the same way. And you'll see, even in this room, I did that, and you can kind of see the difference in the discoloration. So just be careful not to do that. Now, once all the glue dries, I took a hand sander and I just sanded down the floor, which is going to give you this amazing smooth surface and really remove any uneven boards. And then I just vacuumed up all the remaining dust, and then I stained the floor, as you can see. So what you're seeing here, do not do what I did. I'm not wearing a glove, and I'm literally just applying the stain with a paper towel. So do not do that. Use gloves, because obviously you don't want the stain seeping into your skin. That's not good for you. And then use a cloth or a sponge applicator, which will be much better and it's easier to control when you do that, because you really don't want to use too much stain, especially since this is a top floor room, because you don't want that stain seeping down or leaking into your room below, which in this case is the kitchen that I just remodeled and did. So I definitely don't want to mess up that. And then make sure that you do this before you add your wallpaper. So once that's dry, I'm going to apply the border. So what I originally was going to do was just do a dark stain border like the photo, but then I decided that I really wanted this to be more of a dark maroon. I'm doing a Victorian style theme, and so I kind of want this to be, kind of like Victorian gaudy. So what I did was I just used dark maroon paint. I bought this small stencil at a local craft store, and then I just painted it on. I blotted it down, and I went around the whole room, and I just really love the way that it looks. It turned out really good, and I'm very excited about it. So again, because I'm looking at a Victorian style, I looked online for a couple different types of old Victorian wallpapers, and I came across this one that I really liked with this kind of rose pattern. And then I went down to the store, the hobby store, and I just found something that kind of gave me the same feel, the same colors. It's not exactly the same, but I think it works perfectly. Now, this is scrapbook paper that I'm using. And since it doesn't have the same texture as like a real dollhouse wallpaper will, when I glue it, I only glue around the edges, and I put it on, but then I wipe it so it's really thin with my finger. And I only do it on the edges and around the edges of any windows and doors, wherever I'm going to add it. And the reason I do that is because I don't want this paper bubbling or wrinkling. And sometimes when you do full glue, it will do that. So you have to be really careful. And also too, this allows me, if later I want to remove it, it's a little bit easier to do so, and I can change it out. But you can also use double-sided you can also use double-sided tape, which I've seen other people do in the past, and that can work for you for the same reason. So pretty much that's it for this video. I mean, you can see that once it's all done, it looks pretty good together. There are some places in this room where I haven't added the wallpaper yet, and that's basically because I'm adding electric, and so that's not completed yet because I'm going to be working on the ceiling, and I don't want to do wallpaper until that's complete. So that's it. Next week I will be working on that ceiling. I'll be working on the trim and doors for the closets, adding shelving, and then I'll be working on the French doors as well. So I'm excited to see the full outcome of this space. Just another really pretty room that I'm enjoying putting together. In the meantime, please subscribe. I'd like to hear from you. Please comment below, and of course, like the video. And if you want any more dollhouse info and other fun stuff, you can always follow me on Facebook at Whitney Labrie Events. And if you want to buy some amazing previously loved miniatures, I do have a website on eBay that I sell lots of used dollhouse furniture and accessories for really good prices. So you can visit my site at Whitney1614. So thank you so much for watching, and now get to your own dollhouse projects. Bye!